Hey kids, it's the Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Now it's been ages since I just did a bog standard vlog, so I thought I'd come out on the bike and just have a bit of a ride as it's lunchtime and a beautiful day. Too good not to come out on the bike and out on the little KTM 390 Duke once again, which I'm really enjoying at the moment. As I say, sun's out, why wouldn't you come out on a bike? Anyway, subject of my vlog today, bit of a rant, but maybe informational as well. And that is, what is road tax all about, or at least UK road tax? Now for those of you, this looks a bit tricky. Oh. Off-road, let's give it a try. For those of you that aren't in the UK and don't know what I'm talking about, this is something that all vehicles in the UK, or all road vehicles in the UK, have to pay an annual fee to be on the road. Everybody complains about it, and we call it road tax, but in fact that is a complete misnomer. It hasn't been road tax since the 1930s. Originally the government introduced this fee and they did call it road tax. That was back in, I think, 1906 when it first came out. No idea where this road goes, by the way, so this is going to be interesting. And the reason why they brought that road tax out was because obviously we were building roads at that time. The car had just been invented and we needed a road infrastructure, so they slapped a tax on, and that was that. Well, come the 1930s, cars were getting more popular and there's a general sort of agreement that roads should be funded from the general tax pot. So road tax itself was scrapped in, I think, about 1934, something like that, and it became known as vehicle excise duty. And the subtle change here is that vehicle excise duty is charged actually against the vehicle itself, so it's not road tax. It should be called car tax or motorbike tax. It's actually a vehicle tax, and in fact when you look at how it's charged, it's not even a vehicle tax, it's really these days an emissions tax. So the way it works in this country is a bit complicated. First off, who remembers this? Now since vehicle excise duty, or the road fund licence, well no, let's call it vehicle excise duty, which is what it should be, it was introduced in the 1930s, cars and bikes had to carry one of those, a road tax disc, as we called it. Again, incorrectly called it a tax disc, but that's what we all referred to it as, and those we had to display on the vehicle to show that we had paid that tax. As of about, well, I can't remember when, I don't know, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, we no longer have to display those tax discs anymore. Incredible, they've been around all that long. Now they just use number plate recognition to spot and look up on their various government databases whether that particular vehicle has paid car tax or not. But the amount you pay depends, as I say, on the sort of emissions your vehicle gives off. So if you've got a very low emissions vehicle, you pay very low road tax, and typically motorcycles are quite low. And if you're putting out high emissions, then of course you pay high road tax. Now, and it also depends whether your vehicle was registered before April the 1st 2017 or not, as to how much you pay. So the current situation, if you've got a highly emitting vehicle, say you're lucky enough to have a brand new Range Rover, you pay something like £1,400 vehicle excise duty in the first year, for the privilege of having that beast of a car. And then the next year, in fact from years 2 to 6, it goes down to something like £647, and then once it's 8 years old and over, it goes down to the standard rate of £140 a year. And it's the same for other vehicles, depending again on how much pollution they make. There are varying cost grades, if you like, and for bikes, as I say, it's a lot less. So if you're riding an electric bike or electric car, you don't pay anything because it makes no emissions, or a bicycle, you don't pay anything, there's no emissions. If you've got a motorcycle that's less than 150cc, I think it is, then you pay £18 a year, so it seems pretty reasonable. Anything below 600cc pays something like, I can't remember, £60, something like that, and then it goes up to something like 84 for anything over 600cc. So that all sounds fair enough. And of course one of the misdemeanors, or not misdemeanors, misnomers, whatever the word is that cyclists get on the wrong end of a lot of car rage in this country. And one of the things, there's lots of YouTube videos where you see car drivers who've been cut up by bikes or vice versa, and the car driver will say, hey, you don't pay road tax, so you shouldn't be on the road. And of course that's not quite how it works at all. They're not emitting anything, that's why they don't pay road or car tax. So a bit wrong on that one. Anyway, if you don't have your bike on the road and you don't want to pay that vehicle excise duty, the so-called road tax, then what you have to do is submit something called a SORN, S-O-R-N, a statutory off-road notice to the DVLA, and they'll record your vehicle as not being ridden or driven. And then if you're picked up by one of those automatic number plate recognition devices, they'll send you a fine in the post. So there we go. So my beef with the whole vehicle excise duty thing is that we pay this for the privilege of having a vehicle, but it doesn't seem to me that that money, that tax that's collected, is ring fenced in any way, in that it doesn't necessarily go back into road infrastructure or road developments, or so it doesn't feel that way. And that's one of the things that every budget that we get in the UK, vehicle excise duty gets put up or changed, and once again the motorist or the biker is penalised for the privilege of having to get from A to B. And that's annoying, because if you drive or ride in other countries, you know, mostly the roads are better than we have in the UK. I drive and ride in France quite a lot. Roads there are fantastic. Okay, there's a lot of toll roads, and presumably that money goes back, the toll money goes back into developing the roads. But even elsewhere, I recently had a holiday in Italy, not so many tolls there, roads there absolutely beautiful, country roads were fantastic. I was in Tuscany and it was amazing. Whereas this road here, country road, it's full of potholes, bumps. Okay, we get a lot more traffic around here. This is the southeast of England I'm riding in, but nonetheless it never feels like the roads are properly maintained here. So that vehicle excise duty, hello sir, I've no idea where that money goes. Anyway, it'd be very interesting to hear your views on car tax, road tax, vehicle excise duty, that we pay in the UK. We think it's too much, too little, whether we should pay more, what it's spent on, and just generally how you feel about it. And I'd also be really interested from my viewers from overseas. What do you do in other countries? Is there a tax on vehicles there, or are things like roads funded directly at general taxation, which I think is the official position here? It all seems a bit of a grey area to me. Anyway, I'd be really interested to hear your views. Right, I'm going to continue enjoying the little KTM 390 Duke whilst I've got it, still on loan. It's got to go back soon, unfortunately. And also, whilst the weather's playing ball, it's not been a great summer or late summer. So it's really lovely that today it's 24 degrees. Beautiful weather to be out on the bike. Okay, hope that's been of some interest to you. Look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Mr. Fly. Cheerio.